I'm live. Really? Don't look very live. I'm kind of dead. Let's see if anybody turns up. I don't know if the audio is the audio. Oh, why isn't the audio? Oh, press that button. Does that help? Hello? Oh, God, let's have a look. What does it say? I don't have access to this feature. Why don't I have it? Why is there no audio? There's no freaking audio. No audio. What's that mean? No audio. Hang on. Manage. What's that do? Nothing. I have no audio. No audio. What's that mean? Hang on. I'm going to come back. Oh, you can hear us. Okay. Must be very quiet. My little LED lighty audio thing's not moving. Okay, it's working. Good to know. Right, this is just an impromptu stream because it's peeing down with rain outside. Peeing down with rain. We've got a tropical cyclone coming, so I'm not doing any flying today. And getting claustrophobic in here. It's been wet for a couple of weeks now, and it's going to be wet next week as well. But there is a jet meeting at the end of next week, and the weather doesn't look too bad, so hopefully get some flying done then. All right, so what have we got in the chat here? G'day, Geeksvana, and Matthew, Apollos, Michael, Jason, Jeff, Aragoon, Scale RC, Dirty Bob, Jizz FPV, Jizz? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, what have we got to say here? Right. Hello from British Columbia, Canada. How's it going, mate? What else? Waterproof drones, we need them. Yeah, take up boats or submarines might be better just at the moment. Not Jizz. Oh, okay, I remember that. Yeah, a lot of Canadians here. What time is it in Canada? You must know you're there. From California. That's just down from Canada, isn't it? On the left-hand side. Right. Yeah, so it's all been very quiet here. I've got some stuff coming up for review, some interesting stuff. We're going to do a whole lot on ELRS because that's the big thing everybody's into at the moment. And it looks like it's the future of RC is ELRS. Why would you buy anything else? And I've got a bit of stuff, bit of gear for review and so forth. So I'll be looking at that. Now, a little tip for those of you who just have joined the stream, if you click on video speed and you go for the ×2, it'll run forward and you won't be so far behind the stream. A lot of the streams are like 20, 30 seconds behind, but if you speed up the video playback to 2 times, it'll catch up and it'll only be, I don't know, it's usually about 10 seconds or something like that. It just makes it easier when you're trying to, interact with the stream and the comments. So, have I figured out what plane Banggood? No, I haven't actually yet because it's Chinese New Year now, so it doesn't matter until that's all over with. But yeah, we'll try and work it out. Some news. Ron has to go to hospital. Ron is going to hospital. He's got an aortic aneurysm, which I don't know what he's been doing. But they may put a stent in, but they may have to do open heart surgery. That'll be a bit of a major, I suppose. And I'll keep you informed. So he's not allowed to drive until he's had a surgery, hopefully next week. I think he's going in. And we'll let you know. And I've asked him if he dies, can I have all his planes? And he said only if he can have all my planes if he doesn't die. So I'm not taking him up on that. Yeah, 8 p.m. in Newport, Rhode Island. Okay. So, yeah, but Ron will pull through. He's tough as old boots. He'll be fine. There's the lure of the bourbon will keep him going. Don't worry. What else have we got here? It's 5:06 in the evening in Canada. Oh, that's 17:06 really then, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, I'll pass on everybody's wishes to Ron when I see him. And I dare say he'll keep me informed as to what's happening, or he'll just go deadly silent because he won't be there anymore. But hey, we'll find out. 1:07 a.m. in Scotland. Goodness me, what are you people doing up at that hour? You should have been in bed hours ago. Does your mother know? 8 p.m. in Ottawa, the trucker convoy capital of the world. And 5:07 in California. 2 Rhode Islanders. Well, how good is that? How many people we got here? 47 people. That's great. That's almost enough for a party. Right, what else is going on? Yeah, hang on a minute. Just stay around. I'm just going to go back here. Don't go away. What am I looking at? Oh, no, I've lost everything. Hang on. The Radio Master Zorro, of course, everybody knows about that. And interesting, I don't know if you watch Pavel Spachowski, but he has done some tests on the ELRS version of this, and he gets a much lower battery life, about half the battery life on ELRS, because ELRS is kind of power hungry. Well, the board, I think, it may not be that well designed. It seems to be using a lot more power than the 2.4 standard systems, or 4-in-1. So I'm going to do some investigation. I'll rip mine apart and see exactly where all the power's going, because it shouldn't need to use that much power. And we'll see what happens. Melbourne, from Melbourne. I'm only here until 3 because then Bot Grinder's stream starts and I'll go and watch that. So I'm just filling in time. Am I planning on streaming more often by chance? Yeah, probably. I will certainly try and do more streaming, probably also on RC model reviews, because as you probably noticed, I'm going to do more of the informational, educational, instructional type videos. And that's for 2 reasons. I think it's really good to get the knowledge and the information out there, but also it's a little bit mercenary, because reviews, you can't make a lot of money out of review videos. You can't keep yourself going out of review videos very well, because someone releases a product, you get a hold of it, you review it, and everyone that's going to watch that video watches it in the first couple of weeks, because then it's old news. Everyone else has reviewed it, and it's just a case of that video gets no more residual views. But if you do a tutorial, an instructional video, a knowledge information video, then it has a much longer time frame. You know, the videos I did on Ohm's law and soldering and how antennas work, they're still getting views today because the information is still totally relevant. So I'm going to focus more on the stuff that educates people. There's so many people doing reviews now; it's kind of hard to keep up. And because of the freight issue, when manufacturers send stuff out to all the reviewers, I'm usually the last to get it, because we don't get many planes or boats coming here because of all the COVID situation. So I'm often very late to the party, as I was with the Radio Master, and I'm sure I will be with other things. In fact, some companies now, like Runcam, don't even send me stuff. I'd love to have seen their new little camera, their little that little 1080p lightweight recording camera, but they didn't send me one. Either that, or it's just disappeared in the supply chain. I don't know, but yeah, because I've got a use for that. In fact, I might head up Cadex and get one of their peanuts, see if they're interested in that, because I want that for some of the new projects I've got planned. Right, so what else we got here in the chat? Reviewers getting different results with battery and that thing. Yeah, I think it probably depends to a little degree on the protocol you choose and the batteries you choose, because as we know with lithium-ion batteries, not all capacities marked on batteries are true. And the Radio Master ones say 900 milliampere hours, which is probably pretty right, but I've seen 1500 milliampere hours for these 18350 batteries. I don't think that would be correct. And of course, the cheaper ones may only be 500 milliampere hours. So I think the battery that you choose probably has an effect. G'day, Mike, Roche Media. How you going, mate? No rant today. I never rant. I might voice my opinions loudly, but I never rant. It's 2:10 in New Zealand. Yes, it's actually 2:12 now, according to my clock. So that's 2 minutes ago you made that comment. Yes, I will be doing more ranting against the FAA, Apollos, because this is the year we all start pushing back. And in New Zealand, I contacted our Ministry of Transport, who are making the drone rules, and they said that there will be some action towards the end of this quarter. They'll be passing on their recommendations for new, more restrictive drone rules to the government. And then after 30 days, they'll be made public and there'll be a consultation. And you can bet your bottom dollar I will be voicing my opinions quite strongly and inviting a lot of others to do the same, because we don't need all this regulation. In fact, I noticed just today, I read a story in India, they're backing down. Previously, to fly a drone in India, you needed a drone pilot license. But now, if your drone's under 2K, you don't need it anymore. They've decided not serving any purpose. So they've removed that requirement. And I'd like to see more countries unwinding the ridiculous regulatory overreach that they've engaged in, because nobody's dying, nobody's getting seriously injured, planes aren't falling from the sky. These rules are just total overkill, born from an inability to judge risk adequately when making regulations. We've got to hammer that through to them, hammer it home. Right, what do you think is the best new transmitter? Because you just got into the hobby and you have a Spectrum. Anything is probably better than Spectrum, to be honest, totally, truly honest. From the point of view of value for money, Spectrum works fine, but they're really expensive for what they are. You buy the Zorro, $100 for one of these, and it's Edge TX, which means it's the latest in software. It's got this is a 4-in-1, so it'll still fly your Spectrum models because it's got the DSMX protocols. You wouldn't have to replace those receivers. You could just keep those and just add new receivers. You get the cheap little FlySky receivers for, I don't know what they are, $12 or something. So you could just buy the cheapest receiver that's available at the time. And these days, just getting any receiver is getting harder with the chip shortage. The 4-on-1 is a great option, or you can just decide to switch totally over to ELRS and go the ELRS way, in which case, yeah, you could either get the Zorro, or I still kind of like the, hang on, wait till I find it. I still kind of like the, hang on, open the bag. The jumper, I kind of like the little jumper. It's it has some downsides, and the ELRS version, they made a real snafu with that, and so you have to do some recovery, because if it fails when you update, there's all sorts of problems. So they typically, what happens is jumper comes to the market with something new and half finished. Then a few weeks later, Radio Master comes along with something slightly better and better finished, and it works. So jumper at the end, they get there quickly, but Radio Master ends up doing it right most of the time. It doesn't mean that this is a bad product. It just means you can expect some teething troubles, and you're going to have to do some work to get it working properly. But the ELRS version of this is a full 1 watt, and it uses 18650 batteries, which is going to give you a longer battery life. And 1 watt is 4 times as much as the Radio Master, so it'll give you twice the range. That's the way power levels work, inverse square law. So yeah, but by the same token, I'm not that impressed with the horizontal polarization of the jumper antenna. I do like the vertical polarization option on the Radio Master. So there's swings and roundabouts. As I said in my review, if we could get these two companies together and get the best DNA from both products, we'd have the perfect radio, but that's just not going to happen. It's not the way the market works. What else have we got here? Some more teardown videos. Yes, well, every landing is a teardown around here, so you see those all the time. What do we got here? It's all a money grab. Yes, it is, but that's the nature of business. If they weren't making money, they wouldn't be making product, and then we wouldn't have product to use. So you just got to accept that companies need to make money. That's interesting with the ELRS side of things too. A lot of the money that used to go into radios from Futaba and JR and Spectrum, a lot of that money has gone into the development of the software that they use, because you have a team of programmers working on that. Then you've got to recover the cost of their wages and salaries and benefits, which has to be added onto the price of the product you ship. But with things like this, using open source software, the manufacturer doesn't have to pay for that software. So that's why this is $100. And that's why your cheapest Futaba radio is probably 3 or 4 times that. It's because the open source products don't have to pay for the software. And that makes it cheaper for everybody. And it means that if you buy one of these and you don't like it and you go out and buy a jumper, well, you don't have to relearn how to program it, because it's basically the same software. That's a bonus for everybody. Right, what else have we got here? The OMPT 720 review got you flying with that vehicle. Yeah, I like that little plane. Excellent little plane. I gave one away, actually, because one guy I know bought one after the review and he lost it, as people tend to do sometimes with their first plane when they fly it in strong winds. So I gave him the review one, and he was happy with that. You know, I try and give as much away as I can, because otherwise I couldn't get through the door of my workshop. Rightio. Yeah, I think Sleazy. Steezy? Yeah, Sleazy, I can't read. My screen's terrible. It's got stuff all over it. The Radio Master and Jumper have a similar origin, same origin. I think it was that the two people who split up and went their separate ways. So that's why they're 2 different brands. And they both have their strengths, both have their weaknesses. They both make products that do the job. And it's raining there too. Yep, good for you. What have we got here? Yeah, the Spectrum IX12 is $1,000 in Canada. $1,000, and what really does it do more than something like this? Really, seriously, the Spectrum charges more because they make it. They have a greater deal of support, and they do a lot of branding. And this is a problem when you're selling a product. You can build the best mousetrap in the world, but unless people know you've got it, they won't buy it. So Spectrum spends a huge amount of money on advertising, sponsorship to get the name of the product out there. Then it spends a lot of money on providing after-sales support, which for first-time users, it has a certain amount of benefit. But that money has to be recovered through the price of the product. So that's why, something like a Radio Master is super cheap, because Radio Master, although they do have service arrangements with various companies around the world, which is an interesting point. If your Radio Master breaks down, you can get it repaired in most places in the world because they have service arrangements. A lot of people don't realize that. But it doesn't mean that you can ring up Radio Master and say, hey, look, how do I program this? but you can ring up the Spectrum people quite often and get that information, but you're going to pay for it through the nose. I'm fine, thanks. Optimized drone, excellent today. And the rain's getting harder. You might be able to hear it in a minute. What have we got? Denver, Colorado, excellent. Snow season down there, skiing season. Hot and humid in Auckland. Yeah, it is, Paul. It's the same down here. It's great. It's like walking outside. It's like walking into a sauna. It's brilliant. I love it. This is the weather. Well, the heat I love. Not so much the rain, even humidity I don't mind, just the rain. I might conformally coat myself. That would probably solve a lot of problems. What have we got? And Dirty Bob's got Spectrum. Ooh, someone's thrown money at me. I like that. Hi, Jason. How's it going, mate? Enjoy coffee, beer, favorite drink? Thank you very much indeed. And I'm glad you enjoy the content. I will continue to make it for as long as I can. And hopefully other people enjoy it too. Salisbury in Wiltshire. Wiltshire? Oh, that's somewhere near England, isn't it? I think. Flying tomorrow 30-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, if it's winter, 30 miles an hour winds are quite nasty, but if it's summer, it's great. It just keeps you cool. I don't mind wind. I've always been someone who loves to fly in wind because, to be totally honest, sometimes in the summer you have day after day after day of fine, calm weather, and it gets boring, and you just yearn for those days when there's a 20-mile-an-hour wind to have some fun in. And yeah, here's Chris. What does it say? He hates the humidity. I can have it. Thanks, mate. Just put it in a bottle, and I'll pick it up if I'm passing, or drop it in next time you're going through. Humidity is fantastic. Yes, the submissions to the proposed RC aircraft laws in Australia. There wasn't a lot that they had open for discussion, was there? I don't think. And I hope all you Australian viewers are saving your money to register your drones this year. It's going to cost you a fortune, but you have to do it because nobody said we're not having it. Everyone just said, okay, it's terrible. I know there are a few holdouts in Australia who will not be registering, but the MAAA caved and everybody caved and just really, it's terrible. Do I have any videos I'd suggest for a cheap and long-range FPV plane? There's quite a few of them out there. I'd say if you're going to do long-range, try and do it really lightweight and small because it's going to be cheaper. So when you lose it, you won't cry so much. But more importantly, it poses less of a risk to people. In fact, who was it? I saw someone put one up of the that little sub 250 thing. Sort of a whole lot of compilation of footage they've done with that. Looked brilliant. Has the CADX Vista in it, and they're running long range with a little flight controller. And that was the Nano Goblin, and it's just a brilliant little plane. Fantastic. I don't think they're easy to get at the moment, but that would be a perfect plane if you can squeeze it all in with a couple of 18650 cells. You're getting 40 minutes of flight time, and they fly really quick, so you can go a long way, go an awfully long way in one of those. And if you crash it, you're not going to kill somebody, which is kind of important. How does aerial length affect signal? Cool cat. Well, it depends. Aerials are generally a multiple of a quarter of a wavelength of the frequency you're using. If it's not the right length, then a longer aerial can actually give you a weaker signal. It's not just the longer the better. It has to be the right length to provide the right match to the cable and the receiver. So yeah, if you have an antenna too long, it won't work nearly as well as the right length. And if you have it too short, it won't work nearly as well. And so traditionally, it's a quarter wavelength. So you can work that out by the speed of light and the frequency. It tells you the length of the wave. Does Ron have a channel? Yes, he does. It's called ALE Ron. So ALE space RON, I think. You can search for that. What else have we got? Oh, Paul, 20 bucks. Thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. That's excellent. I shall be able to eat tonight. That'll make a change. And it's wet in the Netherlands, cold and wet. Yes, winter there, though, you expect that. And in the Netherlands, it's wet sometimes because the dikes leak, don't they? Isn't it? It's like it's underwater in the Netherlands, isn't it, most of the time? I think, or can you say dike these days in a woke world? I don't know. Who knows? Your camera that you use to film, does it have UTO? What's UTO? I don't know. Does it have UT? Who knows? Elaborate, Raymond. Yeah, Nano Goblin Giz got it right. G'day, John. How's it going, John Cuppy? I don't know how you say name, but anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Dr. Zachary Smith. Oh, the pain. Yeah, RC Test Flight. That was the one. That's the guy. He's got a really good channel. Does some really interesting stuff. Get lots of views too. So it's worth watching his stuff. Yeah, he had the Nano Goblin, and the latest video I posted on that it's a really good little indication of how well a sub 2 or a 250 gram long-range FPV model can fly. It really, really is good. All right. Sharktooth says, what do you use to put your batteries at storage voltage when it's raining? I don't charge them before I use them. Well, I do charge them before I use them, but I don't charge them weeks ahead. Fortunately, we have power at the airfield, so my batteries sit at storage all the time. And if I want to fly something, I pick a battery up and I charge it and fly. And when I'm finished flying, generally it's back to storage, so I just put it back on the shelf. That's the way I do it, rather than charge. If you don't have power at your flying field, a lot of people have to charge up all their batteries before they go out, and if they can't fly, they've then got to discharge them back to storage. So one of the benefits of our setup at the airfield is that people come out with their batteries on storage and just charge them as they use them, and it's much more sensible way to do it. We don't have batteries sitting around on full charge for any length of time. All right. What do we got here? Raymond says, the camera you use to videos, does it have auto zoom? Well, no, all the zoom is manual. It has autofocus, has auto exposure. So yeah, but it doesn't have auto zoom. I have to do that with my hands. It's cool. Do you share your YouTube earnings with other stars that feature on your channel? Yes, I would do, but not directly. I give them a lot of stuff. Like Ron's had 2 transmitters, Bill's had 2 transmitters. I think I've given Simon a couple of planes. I've given Bill several planes. I have so much stuff that I just give as much away as I can. And especially when someone new comes along and they might be starting out with some crappy old stuff, I'll just give them new stuff. I think I gave Bill some FPV goggles. And so, yeah, I try and I've given Ron FPV cameras and things just to try and make sure they've got all the stuff they need. And it's one way that I can subsidize what they're doing, because they are a great value to the channel. Everyone loves them and they deserve to be compensated for actually just, putting up with my nonsense. So yeah, they do get effectively, some kind of compensation for their time. And RC Addict says, regarding your video on horizontal vertical polarization, how do circular polarized antennas fit into the equation? Well, they are just another type of polarization. It's a changing polarization. If you were to look along, the actual polarization goes like this. As you move along, it's actually rotating, which is why it's called circular. Right hand rotates in the right hand direction and left hand in the left hand direction, which is why they don't interfere so much with each other. So it is just another form of polarization. And you can use circularly polarized antennas for your radio controlled transmitter and receiver, but they're just a bit big and bulky for most RC installations. So most people just stick with a linear antenna. Also, we tend to use circularly polarized for video because we notice even the smallest dropout in video. If you get a interference, flicker of interference, it's distracting. But with radio systems, we're transmitting the data for the stick positions repeatedly. So if you lose one frame, you don't notice it. You lose 2 frames, you don't notice it. Unless you've actually moved the sticks, that frame is the same as the one before. So it just gets you don't notice the loss of it. So it's not so important to have continuous connection through your RC link as long as it is good enough. All right, what have we got here? Would you suggest to keep your batteries in a fridge? Actually, in the winter I do, because I don't have the fridge on and it's a nice fireproof box. So I quite often keep batteries in the fridge. I keep them in the microwave too. I've got a microwave oven on top of the fridge and I put batteries in there. If I've got any batteries I'm not sure about, stick them in the microwave oven, so if they catch fire, they're not going to burn the place down. But yeah, you don't want to keep them in the fridge. General rule of thumb is if you're comfortable, your batteries are comfortable. If you feel cold, it's probably a little bit cold for your batteries. If you feel hot, it's hot for your batteries. So just keep them, at the same temperature you enjoy, which generally is around about 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. If you live in America, I have no idea. That's probably 3 acres. I don't do American. What else have we got here? What do you think of reviewers selling stuff they get from companies? Well, it's up to them, I suppose. If they want to sell it to subsidize their operations, put coin in their pocket, that's fine. But I can't do that. The interesting reason why I can't do that is because a few years ago, the New Zealand tax man decided to audit me to make sure I was paying my taxes, and yes, I was. But they said, well, you're not declaring all this free stuff you get as income. You should be declaring it as income and paying tax on it. And I said, well, hang on a minute. No, because I can't pay my telephone or my internet bill with a transmitter, so it's not really income because I can't spend it. And they said, but you could sell it and spend the money. I said, yeah, but I don't sell it. I might give it away, but I don't sell it. And I said, okay, then as long as you don't sell it, we won't consider it to be income. But if you sell one thing, we're going to make you pay income tax on all the free stuff you've had. So I can't sell anything, or I can't sell not even the smallest little nut or bolt, because then everything that I've got for free would be considered income and I have to pay tax on it. So that's why I give stuff away. It's good for me. It's good for everybody except the tax man. And does Bill have a channel? No, Bill doesn't have a channel. He's not a internet. He's not a YouTuber. He's got a YouTube account, but he doesn't have a channel on it. And Larry says, thanks for everything you've done for the hobby. Oh, thank you. I enjoy it. So it's not really a job or anything. It's just, I'd do it anyway, even if people didn't like it. I'd make them watch it. What have we got? I heard if the Nimbus is semi-stable, the ailerons will function normally. Do you find this to be true? What Nimbus is that? I don't know. And new to FPV, using stock stick antenna on the transmitter, same on dual receiver monitor. Should I upgrade to antennas? Best way to orient aircraft on ground? Yeah, certainly on the ground. Multipathing is even a bigger problem than in the air a lot of the time because you're closer to the ground. I put some circularly polarized antennas on. You'll find you get much less of the flickering, and that the signal will be more consistent. The picture will be much more consistent. I'm assuming you're using analog because most digital stuff comes with circularly polarized antennas anyway. Hi, Ding-alarm. How are you? And oh, SC has sent me a buck. Woo! Thank you very much. That's excellent. Charge batteries microwave at 2 minutes 30 on high. I find I only need 30 seconds, but I do wrap them in tinfoil, which probably helps. Don't listen to what I said. That's rubbish. I made that up. Feed them fish. Yes. And when you shoot 4K video, aside from stabilizing the whole image, are you cropping to 1080p from the 4K to give you more latitude in editing, reframing? Yeah, I'll be covering that in an upcoming video. Sometimes I do reframe within the 4K frame. Just depends on how good my original framing was. And sometimes I just use the whole 4K. Generally, when I'm stabilizing, I'm cropped in quite a bit because I need to move things around inside the 4K frame. But yeah, I'll be doing a whole piece on reframing and stabilization and things like that in the edit software, because that's, you know, my videos, the camera does a certain amount of stabilization, but you don't want, the real thing is you don't want too much stabilization in your camera. It really does actually make it difficult, because you imagine you're sort of following a model aircraft along with your camera, and the model zooms up, and you zoom up with the camera, but the camera, if it's got too much stabilization, thinks you still want to go that way because it's trying to stabilize. So as you move up, it actually sort of keeps looking down, thinking I'm stabilizing this. And so you end up with a sudden jerk when the camera catches up. So you want to have less stabilization to get good, smooth following, and then you do it in the edit afterwards. So I'll cover that because too much stabilization is a bad thing in the camera. Right. Raining in Canterbury too. Yeah, you've had a lot of rain down there. I think the West Coast has had heaps anyway. And hello from Sarasota, Florida, where it's always sunny and fine and warm and humid, I suppose. John Salt, 5 quid. Thanks, mate. Excellent. Oh, gosh, I might even have enough for tea now. That's excellent. Greetings from Washington State. It's 5:30 p.m., 49 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy. 49. I have no idea what that is. That must be like about, I don't know, 3 centimeters. I don't know American. Which video software do you use? I used a DaVinci Resolve. Now, I started using Microsoft Movie Maker. And in fact, look at some of my very early videos, you'll see the white text on blue background that says this person is using Microsoft Movie Maker. But then I went to Sony, the Sony Movie Maker, Movie Studio. I think it was Sony Movie Studio. And I used that for years. I just, as they put out new versions, I upgraded. And it was okay. But then I think it was, yeah. Then they bought it and I sold it to a company called Magix, which is a European company, and they completely messed it up. It used to be solid and reliable and bug-free, and when Magix got involved, the thing was crashing left, right, and center. It was terrible. So then I looked around. I tried Adobe Premiere, and it just didn't work for me. The workflow was wrong. I couldn't get used to the things like, oh, it's no good. I thought I'll try DaVinci Resolve because they had a free version. There was a totally free version of DaVinci Resolve without watermarks or without time limits or resolution limits. And that's great. I tried that and I liked it. So I spent the $300 and bought the Professional Studio Edition because not because I needed the features, but because if it's a tool I'm using to create content, which is earning me money, I feel you've got an obligation to pay for something that you're using to make money. So I paid the money, and I haven't regretted it for a moment. It's a one-time $299 cost, whereas Adobe I'd be paying more than that every year just to hire the software because you pay a monthly fee. And the beauty of Resolve is that it's just as good as Adobe because all the updates have been free. I bought it when it was version 14, and now they're up to version 17. And all those updates have been totally free. You haven't had to pay for them. It's fantastic. And you do need a pretty grunty machine, though. I'm running version 15 on my machine because it's only an i7 8087. Well, what is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's an older Intel system, 6 cores. It's only got a GTX 1060 in it. So on the newer versions of the software, it would be a bit slow. So I stuck with the older version. It does everything I need, and it's super, super quick and fast, which is very important. I'm running behind in the comments here. What have we got? Fullerton, California. G'day, Adam. How's it going, mate? A carbon cub from Horizon 1300mm. Can you YouTube review or comment here on the future? Is it any good? I don't know. The big carbon cub's pretty good, but they're pretty expensive. It's E-flite, isn't it? Their models are pretty expensive. Bill has got a few E-flite models. He likes them, but the price is a bit over beyond my checkbook. And also the problem here at the moment is getting anything in. I mean, every time I look at something and think, oh, I might order that. It's sorry, we can't ship to your country because it's too big or there's no shipping or whatever. It's just like we're cut off from the world a bit at the moment when it comes to models, I'm afraid. What else have we got here? Reckon you'll revisit the Outlaw? Yes, I've still got to do part 2. Most people that have cut the bits out can see how they go together. It's not a big deal, but I still have to do part 2 of that. I've got some lighting over the bench now, so I can finish that. It's just a case of getting around to it. My big priority actually at the moment, which is why I'm not too worried about the rain, is the ADS-B alarm, because the final version of that will be done hopefully in a couple of weeks, and then I'll get everything out to people. I'm working on a version that will work on the Raspberry Pi 02W, which is a lot cheaper than the Raspberry Pi 4. And so that will keep the cost down, and they're a little bit more available sometimes, and also reduces the amount of power that it uses, which is quite important. Giz uses Windows Movie Maker for his YouTube vids. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. If you're just cutting and stitching bits of footage together, there's no problem with this, and it's free and it works and it's great and it's easy to use. So yeah, you don't have to use the biggest, latest and greatest. As I say, with Resolve, I'm using version 15. Version 17's got all sorts of fantastic new features I would never use, and 15 works reliably. It has never crashed on me. I don't know of another piece of software that has never crashed on me, but Resolve 15.3 has never crashed. And to me, that's a lifesaver. I don't want to have to recover hours of work because the software's crashed. I noticed when I was using Premiere, it was falling over regularly. I didn't like that. I sub for the XJet and PulseJet stuff. I've been getting drone updates in my DMs for 2 years now. Well, there is a PulseJet model under construction at the moment. I haven't said much about it because I want to surprise people, but there will be a PulseJet model before the winter. And so that'll be a brief moment of excitement and probably disappointment, but it is coming. And someone else here is talking about Resolve. Where have we got? My laptop dies when I upgrade past 15. Yeah. The later versions are quite intensive in terms of GPU, especially. So I haven't bothered upgrading because it does all I want. 15 is fine. In fact, the later versions are less reliable than 15.3 is the version I would suggest anyone with anything other than a Threadripper or whatever that they go for. It is just works fine. I can do 4K footage with noise reduction and stabilization on my GTX 1060 with 6 GB of video RAM with version 15. Couldn't do that with any of the later versions. Right, hi from Canberra. Used to live in Hawke's Bay. Okay, big shift. I like Resolve. Learned on Final Cut Pro. Computer died, and Resolve is similar. Yeah, it is similar to Final Cut Pro, especially now they've got the cut page and things. What have we got? 45 degrees equals 9 degrees Celsius. That's cold. Anything below 20 is cold for me. Raining there, Just bought myself a new Sony stills camera. Yep. I've had Sony and Panasonic. They're all good. Time for bed. Oh, good night, cool cat. Frozen tundra, North Wisconsin. So scroll up again. What's going on here? I'm way behind. Minus 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That's minus 40 something degrees Celsius. That's way too cold for anybody. I might have to skip ahead. I might miss someone, but never mind. I'm trying to keep up. been using a Raspberry Pi Zero as an ad blocker. Yeah, the Raspberry Pi is an amazing little board. It's fantastic. Everyone should get one. You can use them for all sorts of things. You can make a retro game console out of them if you want to. It's 17 degrees in Florida. That's pretty cool, isn't it? What is it? Midnight or something. Can't use the GPU. I can't use the GPU because the free version doesn't have a codec for it either. I missed the previous version. If there's one previous message, I don't know what I'm talking about there, but never mind. Got a CatX peanut for Christmas. Amazing. Well, everything we done with Android. Yeah, I must get a peanut. I wish they'd sent me one, but I'll hit them up and see if they'll send me one. 3.4 degrees C in the UK. My goodness, I'm glad I'm not in the UK. Thoughts on remote ID? Will we win? That's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? The only possible way I see that prevailing is if they redefine what is navigable airspace, but I don't think they will. I think the constitutional challenges will be dismissed on the grounds of security, safety and security, because that's already usurped the US Constitution in so many areas. The Constitution comes secondary to safety and security, which is whatever the government says it is. But this whole thing about what's navigable and what's not, why should there be any need for remote ID in airspace that's not navigable? That may be one avenue, but the problem is that this isn't the FAA. The government said to the FAA, we want you to introduce this. And so the FAA has just implemented what they've been told to introduce. So any appeals to government will fall on deaf ears because this is what they want. Any appeals to the FAA will fall on deaf ears because this is what they've been told to do. The only people who can reverse this are the courts, and the courts tend to side with safety and security because no judge or court wants to be held liable if they allow something and then people die. And there's this crazy belief that drones are going to kill everybody. So yeah, I fear in the USA remote ID may come to pass. And the only way around it will be just open disobedience. You know, I mean, all these rules only work because people choose to obey them. And there's not enough police in America to catch everyone who doesn't use remote ID. Certainly, there's not enough FAA people to do that. So flying under the radar may be the best option. I would never endorse breaking the law or the rules, but that's what some people may choose to do. Me included, if I was there. All right. And also there's 250 grams because Jim Squad says, or at least raise the limit, who drew the line at 250 grams. You're quite right. This 250 grams is totally arbitrary. It was based on some kind of World War II report about flak damage from, or something to do with falling objects and that, but it took no account of what the object's made of and the amount of energy involved, the frangibility of the object, that sort of thing. I mean, 250 grams, you know, if you drop 250 grams of feather on me from 10 feet, I won't even know you've done it. You drop 250 grams of lead on me, it'll probably give me a really big bruise on my head and hurt me. You could drop a ton of feathers on me, a ton of loose feathers, I wouldn't care, but you drop a ton of lead on me and I'm dead. So it's not just the weight, it's not just the mass, it is what's made up. And if you're looking at it like a foam model, foam is light, it deforms, it absorbs energy. You know, 2 kilograms is fine. 2 kilogram foam model is not a threat to people. But they don't take any of that into account because it doesn't suit the narrative. They want to have a number they can use to say, oh, you know, we're being fair because under this amount you can do what you like. But it's not based on anything to do with the risk analysis or safety. Could I give a shout out to BB Junkie's wife, Pip? She loves your RC model review channel. G'day, how's it going? Okay. You're my RC models. That's it. And Jason's running. Okay, keep fit, man. What else here? Yeah, it will create an army of Karens. There will be a lot of people just out there to make trouble, but it's a totally, remote ID is totally flawed concept. If let's say you come along and there's 3 drones in the sky and an enforcement officer pulls out his phone and there's only 2 drones with a remote ID, which one is the one that doesn't have a remote ID if they're all flying close together? He doesn't know. Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing that worries me is that if you've seen Flight Radar 24, you'll know that there's already a network set up to monitor ADS-B transmissions so that you can go online and see where any ADS-B equipped aircraft is flying anywhere in the world at any time. So this will happen with remote ID as well. All these people who've got the Raspberry Pis and the software-defined radios will just add remote ID to it. So you'll be able to go online and see where drones are being flown at any time. And if you see, oh, there's one just down the road from me and you're a bad person, you just go down and mug the operator because it'll tell you exactly where he's standing and he'll be distracted by flying so you can take his watch, his wallet and his phone. And the FAA says if that happens, just call the police. Seriously, what are they smoking over there? Do you recommend a good place in New Zealand to maiden a 2-metre plane? Yep, Tokoroa Airfield, we're the best place. There's lots of expert help there. Ron would help you. I've already subscribed. Is there a way you can let us know when you are going to stream? Yeah, well, I'm not really streaming on purpose. It's more by accident. I will be doing some scheduled streams. The trouble is picking a time because the streamosphere is full of people streaming. I mean, in just about 15 minutes time, Bot Grinder starts. So I'll be gone because I watch his stream. It's fantastic. And before this, there was Dave Jones streaming. He streamed up until I think 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So it's like there's not many gaps left in the calendar, and I want to get as many people as possible. And of course, you've got time zones to deal with, so it becomes quite complicated. I might do 2 streams a week, perhaps one for people in Europe and that part of the world, another one for USA and Australia and New Zealand. I don't know. I'll have to sit down and really try and think it out because it's no good streaming if nobody's going to listen. I've got 112 people here at the moment. It's fantastic. What have we got here? Trying to catch it. Ooh, Adam, excellent, $5. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, the guy who should be getting hired during the stream. Yeah, Bot Grinder. It's interesting. He's quite a polarizing character. You love him or hate him, and he doesn't represent a good role model. A lot of people say he's not a good role model for younger people. But if you look what he's done with his life, he was a train hopping heroin addict, I think. And now he's okay. He still smokes dope, and his lifestyle may not appeal to a lot of people, but he's a long way from where he was, and he's improved himself dramatically, and that deserves. He has my respect for doing that. I dare say a lot of his peers, when he was jumping trains and smoking heroin, are 6 feet under now. He has changed his life, and now he's actually contributing positively to the whole FPV scene. Now, I think that's something that should be commended. So, he may not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's a lot more than he used to be, and hey, that's good. I think reward the behavior that you want to encourage and ignore this behavior you don't. BB Junkie says just after Dave is good. Yeah, Dave does a good stream, and perhaps I can piggyback up. But of course, people don't want to spend all day in front of the computer screen watching stream after stream. You've got to get a life. You've got to go out and fly sometime. Right, what else have we got here? Right, he seems impractical, especially the enforcement police, probably only 1 in 1,000 if that people would actually volunteer. Yeah, I don't see no one's going to enforce it. No one's going to enforce it. It's just another thing they can charge you with if you do something really stupid and draw the attention of the authorities. And that's the big thing. Fly under the radar whenever you can. Don't attract attention to yourself. And it doesn't matter if you're following the rules or not, as long as you're safe. That's really the key thing. You're just before Mads on Sunday. Yeah, which is early morning Monday here, which is good for me, actually. Of course, the other thing is daylight saving, because in a few months' time, we lose daylight saving, so we actually go backwards an hour while the Northern Hemisphere goes forwards an hour. So everything changes by 2 hours in terms of lining up. But no, there's nothing. I mean, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and often don't go to bed until 10 o'clock at night. So it's not many hours I'm not sitting here able to do a stream. And Bot does not pretend to be a role model. That he does not. That's true. And he's a sweetheart. He is a sweetheart. Yeah. I wouldn't want to cuddle him, but yeah. And Phil, $5. Ooh, this is adding up. I'll be able to retire soon. Fantastic. I was flying my 5-inch freestyle quad an hour ago and was told by an annoyed woman in the park that I should be logging my flights on Airshare. I'm flying below front. Tell her to get stuffed. In a nice way, of course. There's no obligation to log your flights on Airshare. In fact, I refuse, and I would advise people not to use Airshare, because Airshare is part of a scheme that the Ministry of Transport has to commercialise our airspace. They've made it very clear that they are creating a UTM that they want to sell to the rest of the world, and part of that UTM will be pay to fly. So don't use them, because then they can come along and say, our system, well, they've already said our system's been operating successfully for X number of years, and people are using it, and it's fantastic, and because of this, no one is killed. No. Don't give them excuses to monetize and charge us for things which should not be charged for. Never use Airshare unless you're doing it commercially. Yeah, do it. If you're commercial, do it. But if you're recreational, don't encourage them. Do not encourage them. Agent Smith, Bot Grinder, who's that? Everyone's heard of Bot Grinder. I should do a joint. Yeah, I should. I do some more collaborations. In fact, I've been on a lot more of other people's streams than I've done of mine. I think I've only done 3 streams to date. But I love going on other people's streams. Quite often, if I'm working and it's early morning and there's no one around, I'm just have a look around for live streams. I drop in on people's streams. Sometimes it's streams you know, especially a lot of young people, they might have 3 or 4 people watching, and they get all excited. And I love it, dropping in and saying hello, and you know, a name they recognise. They seem to like it, so I'm happy to drop in on other people's streams and you know, share the love, you might say. Why not? Oh, Mary Boozer, $4.99. Excellent. Thank you so much. What flight simulator do you recommend for a young teen that wants to get into flying hobby? I don't know. I haven't used flight simulators for quite a while because my flying is perfect. Ooh, yeah, no. Any flight simulator is better than no flight simulator. They're all pretty good, actually. Just choose what suits your budget, what's available, and go with that, because the muscle memory is something you'll pick up, you know, through simulation. When I was learning to fly helicopters, I could never have learned to fly without a simulator, and so that saved me a fortune. In one of your videos where you shared some shows you liked, Stargate really shocked me. I love the TV show and didn't know there was a series, and finished it. Really enjoyed the series. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Stargate. I loved all the franchises except the last one, Stargate Universe or whatever it was. I liked Stargate. I liked Stargate Atlantis, and there was another one. I think there was. I can't remember anyway. But yeah, that was great. I enjoyed it. Great series. Loved them. What have we got here? XJet is the man. Most supportive FPV. Yeah, I mean, I support the hobby. That's what I'm here for. I mean, I'm old. Look, old and retired. Or should be retired, and so I just want to give back. I've had so much fun from this hobby. If I can encourage more people to get into it and help them when they do, I get a buzz out of that. Clinical Australian, $7.99. I can have pudding now. I can have some ice cream after tea. This is brilliant. And okay, Adam says Uncrashed is a good sim. I haven't seen that one, so. And oh, Larry's been at 66.6% of my streams. That's a very good average, mate. You're to be commended. What have we got? What about Star Trek? Yeah, I've got all the series. I've even got the remastered, rejizzed original Star Trek with Captain, what's his name? Leonard Nimoy and that. The very first TV series, I got that. They remastered it, and it's brilliant. It's like fantastic quality, except they used some really crappy CGI graphics instead of the external shots of the Enterprise. They ruined the whole thing with these crappy CGI graphics. They should have kept the original model-based graphics in there. It was brilliant. But the rest of it is fantastic. You'd think it had been shot in HD today. The quality is fantastic. I watch that quite regularly. And I've got Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek, what is it? Voyager, Next Generation, and the other one that had terrible memory. Anyway, I've got all the Star Trek series, and I love them all. Box sets. I paid for them. Didn't even get them off the torrents. Star Trek Discovery. Yep. What have we got? Drinks on Bruce. Yeah, drinks are on me. Bring your own straw. Fantastic. What's the latest on New Zealand get-together idea? Well, yeah, we just got to convince our council. They're such a waste of space. I can say that with some authority. They're terrible. Last time I tried to organise a big get-together here, I was told I had to pay a $100,000 bond for the airfield in case someone stole it. Something, I guess that's what it was for. I think the exact words were, Mr. Simpson, if you want your friends to use our airfield, I expect a 6-figure deposit. That's what a councillor said to me. I've got it on video. Oh, I couldn't believe that. So yeah, this is a council that's supposed to be promoting the district, encouraging visitors, and they're spending goodness knows how much on marketing information. And these are the people that they put out have I got it here? No, I don't think I have. They put out an advertisement looking for someone to do video and photographs for a new website they're doing, and some online presence. So I said, look, I'll do it for free. I'll do your video for free. Look, here you go, no charge. And they said, thanks, but no thanks. We're going to get someone else to do it. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, probably better than me, but why would you turn down free stuff? And I've seen the stuff I've done, and that was all very good. It's very good, but we're going to get somebody else. Okay, you can't give your time away. But yeah, it's just terrible. The council, they're very, very myopic. They're just not interested in anything outside. They just want to keep their chairs warm and keep the coffee and donuts going, in my honest opinion. Yeah. Do the wires going to a GPS need to be shielded or twisted? Having trouble getting satellites? That's usually not the problem unless you're running very close to a video transmitter or something. It doesn't hurt to have them shielded or twisted, but it may not help. Usually the problem is that the antenna on the GPS is picking up signals from something else. It might be a noisy beck or something. You want to get your receiver antenna, that's the little patch on the GPS, you get it as far out as possible away from the video and away from things. Also things like cameras. Now there was a while there when some of the cameras had quite a bit of output on the around about the 1 gigahertz, just over 1 gigahertz, and that would interfere with GPS. So you can selectively try turning stuff off. If you've got for example, a GoPro or something, try it without that. Turn that off and see if it makes a difference. But yeah, it can be a little bit difficult to nail down the source of that kind of interference. But often it's just placement as well, because it doesn't get a good view all around. Gosh, I've run right behind on these comments. That's terrible. Did I hear that Amazon Prime is trying to remake Stargate SG-1? Fingers crossed. It isn't woke. It's bound to be woke. Everything's woke in the media, in the film industry. They did it. It was some British drama, and was it Mary Queen of Scots or someone? She was black. Seriously? How do they do that? And then I see somebody complained that, or someone, a Jewish English actress complained that Helen Mirren was chosen to play Golda Meir in a movie, and because she's not Jewish. You can't have a non-Jewish person playing a Jewish character. And to her credit, Helen Mirren turned around and said, well, then Jewish people can't play non-Jewish people, can they? I mean, it's just a big mess. And Dave was talking about this on his live stream this morning. The woke world is crazy. I mean, people are there are so many people out there looking to be victims. They want a reason to say, oh, I've been wronged. Help me, feel sorry for me, instead of simply taking a teaspoon of cement and hardening up, which is what we were taught to do when we were kids. And that's what I believe now. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Names won't hurt me. You can call me anything you like. I don't give a damn. Just get on, do your job, and I'll be happy. Nick FPV, do I have a favorite plane? Yes. You didn't ask what it was, so I won't tell him. Yeah, well, it depends on the day. I love my FMS Super Easy for just a fun plane to fly around. That little E-Sky Sparrow is so much fun now, especially in a wind. It is just a ball. I've been flying the Mini Race Wing again, and I'm liking that too. That's just a nice predictable. It's so easy to launch for a wing. It is the easiest launching model I've got. Yeah, it just varies from sometimes. Usually I'll get a plane out of the workshop and I'll fly it. And I'll get really in love with it for a few weeks, and I'll fly it continuously, and then I'll put it away and get something else out. So I cycle through planes. They're all good. There's no bad planes. I love them all. SC, thanks for helping us RC enthusiasts. That's what I do, mate. That's what I enjoy. So thank you for thanking me. What else have we got here? Whoops. I saw something from Chris there. It scrolled away real quick. Oh, so many comments. How do I keep up with this? I suppose I should put the slow mode on, but I can't be bothered. What have we got here? I did see a comment from Chris, but it's gone now. Oh, no. Let's see if I can find it again. No, can't see it. I'm blind. Blind as a bat. Oh, bot grinder's on in 5 minutes. I'm going shortly. And what have we got? Yeah, hopefully New Zealand will open up soon, and well, it'll have to. They can't keep us locked up forever. And then hopefully get some people coming over to New Zealand from across the ditch and around the place. And I'd love to organise a bit of a get together. And I'd like to actually to get the guys from Ringaboo out here, and the guys that used to be in Spectra 50. Charlie. I've heard from Charlie a couple of times. He's still around. Alex Chimple, and Mark, and Technical Kev, and all those, and Kenneth, and maybe Bear Pussy Man. It'd be great to have an international. Whoa, Anthony May, thank you so much, mate. Much appreciated. Might be enough for battery. Hopefully it will be. I'd like to get like the YouTube RC event. Get all the people that you watch, all the people who subscribe to, get us all together in one place. It'd make for so much content and so much fun. I think that would be a real winner. That's on my bucket list. I'd love to do that before I kick off. And I'll see if I can get some sponsorship, reduced airfares or something. Who knows? Get it all sponsored by an international airline or something. That'd be just the thing I would love to do most in all the world. I mean, Flight Test got their golf club. This would be what I'd want to do, is get all the names in FPV and RC together in one place at one time. Imagine how much fun that would be. That would be amazing. Right, it's coming up to bot o'clock, so I will flick the big disconnect switch. And I thank you all for dropping in, all 113 of you at the moment. And I thank all those who contributed through the super chat. Wow, that's brilliant. I don't really expect that, because, hey, fantastic. I do appreciate it. That's really excellent. So if you've got nothing else to do, go and watch the Bot Grinder stream. Join in there and say hello. Tell them I sent you. And yeah, stay tuned. I will be putting out the next stream. I will schedule it, and we'll just, and I'll come up with some stuff. I've got to get a new video card for this computer, because I can't do any fancy stuff. It's just got the Intel graphics on this one. This is my desktop I use for working. My other video one is more or less permanently occupied with rendering videos. So I'll try and get myself a new video card. See how the Patreon, well, how the YouTube payment comes in this month, which shouldn't be very good. It's really crap. But if I can, and I can find one, I'll get myself a new graphics card, and then I can do some more fancy streaming stuff. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and it's bot o'clock, so over you go. Bot grinder stream. See you all later. Bye for now.